The food industry insider warns of contaminated crops as a result of the East Palestine environmental disaster. Michael Snyder reports the horrific environmental disaster of East Palestine, Ohio, has contaminated the air, the soil, and the water in much of the region. So how much, if any, of the food that is grown in that part of the country will be safe to eat? I had not thought about the question too much until I received a very alarming phone call. One of the people that I spoke to during that phone call was a woman that I know personally. I have known her for years, and I have visited her with her in her own living room, and so I can vouch for her honesty. She told me that her son-in-law manages 3 organic food farms in California, Idaho, and Washington state, and that he is warning family and friends to get ready for severe food shortages starting this spring. Apparently, there are several factors that will cause food supplies to be tighter, and one of the biggest is the fact that the Ohio spill has contaminated a lot of land and water. Apparently, there is a scramble to find clean food, and her son-in-law is receiving lots of phone calls from buyers in the eastern half of the nation and want to buy what his farms are producing. Will we just have to wait to see if things will be as bad as this source is suggesting? But we do know that some companies have already started to take action due to concerns about contamination from this. For example, one grocery chain has already removed bottled water from store shelves because it was bottled 25 miles from this derailment. Weeks after a train derailment near Ohio-Pennsylvania border left hazardous chemicals burning from rail cars, fears of the potential impacts are being felt in places far from the accident. Grocery chain Giant Eagle, with hundreds of stores in 5 states, including Ohio and Pennsylvania, pulled bottled water off the shelves out of an abundance of caution because it was bottled 25 miles from the derailment. And we also know that the large number of animals are dying. In fact, officials are now publicly admitting that about 43,000 fish, amphibians, crustaceans, and other aquatic animals are already gone. The derailment in East Palestine potentially killed more than 45,000 fish, amphibians, crustaceans, and other aquatic animals in nearby streams, stated officials this Thursday. And it will take time for the stream ecosystem to recover, said Mary Mertz, director of Ohio Department of Natural Resources. We know it won't be quick, she said, but it's going to come back. Ultimately, the final death toll among animals will inevitably be much larger. Another thing that we know is that lots of people that live in the area around East Palestine are getting sick. The following comes from the New York Post. Wade Lovett's been having trouble breathing since February 3rd, Norfolk South train derailment and toxic explosion there, and in fact his voice sounds as if he's been inhaling helium, which means that it's higher in pitch. Doctors say, I definitely have the chemicals in me, but there's no one in town who can run the toxicological test to find out which ones they are. Lovett, 40 years old, an auto dealer, said in an extremely high-pitched voice. He said, my voice sounds like Mickey Mouse. My normal voice is low. It's hard to breathe, especially at night. My chest hurts so that at night I feel that I'm drowning. I cough up phlegm a lot. I lost my job because the doctor won't release me to go to work. We have never seen anything like this before, and there are so many questions that are going unanswered. Right now, a lot of people are wondering why the EPA has suddenly stopped all shipments of contaminated waste from the disaster site. Federal environmental authorities have ordered a temporary halt in the shipment of contaminated waste from the site of a fiery train derailment earlier this month in eastern Ohio near the Pennsylvania state line. Region 5 Administrator Deborah Shore of the Environmental Protection Agency said Saturday the agency ordered Norfolk Southern to pause shipments from the site of the February 3rd derailment in East Palestine, but vowed that removal of the material would resume very soon. Why can't they tell us why they made this decision? And why won't Joe Biden go to Ohio? When he was directly asked about visiting East Palestine, this is how he responded. The president answered, at this point I'm not, but then he appeared confused and strained as he tried to explain himself. I did a whole video, what the HELL, on. Biden rambled as he looked for the reporters to fill in the gap. Zoom, one of the reporters said, tried to help the president. Zoom, all I can think of every time I think of Zoom is that song in my generation, Who's Zooming Who, he said, referencing to Aretha Franklin's song. Now, is that really the best you can do? Meanwhile, we continue to see very odd disasters happening at critical facilities all over North America. On Thursday, massive fires suddenly erupted at 3 different Pemex facilities. 3 separate fires at Petróleos Mexicanos facilities on Thursday left at least the Mexican state oil company safety record under scrutiny ahead of its earnings calls on Monday. Now, are we supposed to believe that 3 separate facilities all had catastrophic accidents on the same day for the same company? And here in the United States, more than 100 food processing facilities have been mysteriously destroyed over the past couple of years. How many incidents have to happen before authorities will finally admit that there is some sort of a pattern? Food production just keeps getting hit over and over again, and this comes at a time when the global food shortages that we've been anticipating have already begun. I would highly recommend stocking up while you still can, because we're moving into times of great uncertainty. And this is by Michael Snyder. He says about the author, "My name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. And this is on the Economic Collapse blog by Michael Snyder. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.